I would say too, sometimes it's not just about makeup. Sometimes it's about just going into even asking questions. Sometimes, especially if you work in production or film or a commercial, sometimes it's reading your sides. And for those people, sides are like in little mini instructions they give you with each scene that kind of tells you what's happening. So sometimes when you are reading sides, it'll tell you everything that's happening in that scene. And even though her makeup and hair and everything may be already done, there's clues of things in that that you need to do that they may not directly tell you, but if you are prepared and you're a really great makeup artist, you'll kind of have it on hand and kind of know. And one thing I want to do with this, I was gonna pull up, let me pull it up really quick, is some real sides I have from a commercial I just did. And I'm gonna read it to you guys. And I want you to tell me what else you think we need for this scene. And just give me 2 seconds. Okay. So this is a scene from a commercial I did last week, and it just says a young mother is in, and her makeup and hair is already done. A young mother is in labor. She rocks back and forth, in and out of focus. It's painful, and she's supported by the staff from a small local hospital.
Her face should look sweaty.
Yes, her face should look sweaty because again she's in labor. What else?
You said it was a small local hospital, so
Yeah.
it's not like a metropolitan area where she would be like really done up. It would probably be more simple if she had anything.
Yeah, she's super duper. Her makeup is gonna be super duper simple. She's gonna be sweaty. What about her hair?
Messy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess. Things like that. Other things too. For me, they said it's painful. So sometimes if you're in pain, if you see, you're also sweaty. But sometimes too, with that becomes tears. So things like that, I would kind of have like, so that's kind of like, as I'm reading the script, it says none of that stuff. But a lot of times too, when I say ask questions, my thing is, I'm like, okay, so with this labor, like how far are we going? Yeah, how much are you gonna see? Like, you know what I'm saying, do you want her to sweat? Do you want her to cry? Do you want her to, because I mean, especially too, sometimes if we're in Nashville, sometimes we have really amazing like actresses who can cry on cue, and sometimes you don't. So I got a kit full of help just in case we can like make that happen. Other things like that, just even in this same commercial, we had like where we saw a newborn baby. So I'm like, okay, how newborn is this baby? Like, does it have stuff on it? Like, do we like put grease? Like, what exactly do we need to do with it? So sometimes when I say too, it's more than just makeup. Sometimes the makeup and hair is already done, but it's like, okay, what kind of mood are we need to create? Like, what are we trying to do? Even my creative director, sometimes on ad campaigns, I'm like, okay, so are we doing, like, what's the whole feel we're trying to get from this? And just figure out a way how you can speak with makeup to kind of make it happen. Okay. That's great. And then a lot of times too, like especially you guys, and that's what I'm asking, some of you guys have like such similar stories that even though everybody kind of is kind of like want to do the same thing, but slightly different. And so sometimes too with that, you guys can be, and Ashley is really great about you guys having a forum and all that stuff. You guys can be a network for each other, that if you get something, you can easily find somebody to help you with something. Or if it's something that you're like, this is kind of me, but not really. Who you really want is Mercedes. Type of thing. You have somebody you can easily refer work to, because you're gonna need like a network even of artists. Because a lot of times too, there's been so many makeup artists who have referred me work, and I've referred work back to them. And it's so much better than being that artist is known for stealing people's clients and you can't trust, versus having somebody that you can trust, that you guys can refer work back to each other. Because when you do get busy, much as you want to, you can't take everything. You're one person, and there will be several dates, and it happens to me all the time. There's several dates. I'm like, why did everybody in America wants to shoot on this date. You're like, if we spread this out, this is like a whole 2 weeks worth of work, but you can't take everything. So that's why you need to have reliable people within your network that you can refer stuff to back and forth. So that way, not only are your clients happy, think of you and the great person that you referred to them, but next time this person has work they can't do, they can also refer it back to you. And just kind of remembering that. And then also other people that you work with in the vanities department, for those people who are thinking of doing like production and film and red carpet stuff, like wardrobe people. Wardrobe people are your friend also. I've gotten so much work from wardrobe stylists who suggested me on shoots just because we work together as a team versus me keeping someone in hair and makeup all day and be like, I don't care when you dress them. And just kind of like monopolizing everybody's time, but really kind of working with people as a team also. Really helps you a bunch. Did anybody have questions or anything about working? What do you have?
I was just wondering, in this market, this area,
Yeah.
what's the best way about going to become an assistant, like reaching out to do that?
A lot of times it's getting, what I'll say is kind of getting to know people. But don't come in with the aspect of, I would say like, give me sometimes. Or sometimes I've gotten emails or I've gotten things from people where it sounds like basically you want to take me out to lunch and find out who all my clients are. And I've had it worded that way a little bit, or they're like, oh, I just moved to the area and I would like to work with you. I love who the people you work with. I would love to have lunch and find out who exactly you're working with now. And I was just like, okay, I'm not, I'm pretty smart. That sounds like you basically want me to give you your book at the thing. So, I mean, really, kind of come up with a place of wanting to help. And a lot of times too, just even like I would love to assist, and if there's any projects I can help you with, let me know. Sometimes if it's someone who teaches, you can also help assist with their classes, and really like different events. It's just really getting to know like that person, and just even when you also, if you are sending someone a message through email too, please speak in complete English, not text form. Sometimes too, so that way you seem a little bit more professional. Also, if you have a book, or even if it's not like huge, if you have any photos of your work, attach that also. Because a lot of times too, even when you're trying to assist, try to assist someone who's kind of doing what you want to do, or their kind of goals are kind of in line with yours, if that makes sense. Because some of my best assistants, I have sent them on jobs instead of me, and sometimes if our work isn't like quite the same, it's kind of harder for me to send them on stuff because I'm not sure if they can deliver what they want. Or if it's certain assistants, I'll suggest for certain jobs because I kind of have an idea of what their strong points are. So sometimes if you are super duper like edgy, for you to send something to somebody who's a special effects artist, or somebody and you know you want to work in editorial and you're emailing somebody that's a bridal artist, it's not really going to benefit you. And that you can kind of learn from them a little bit, but it's not essential. Make smart career moves for that, also in that aspect. So biggest thing is just really make sure you have like send some of your work. Do not sound like you're trying to steal all their clients, honestly. Really, if there's like any network events or any place where you guys can kind of meet up or talk, or if you can kind of take them out to lunch and really kind of get to know them, that usually works well also. Because a lot of times too, sometimes it may not be someone's work, but it's someone's personality. Because I can teach you to be a great makeup artist, I can't teach you to be a good person. So it's one of those things too that a lot of times people recognize that also. If you're a hard worker and you're really willing to learn, a lot of people kind of take you on that way, if that makes sense. Any other questions anybody might have? And then other things that I would just say too is just really for the people, take a look at the people who inspire you and the kind of artists that you want to be, because also social media is really huge, but for each artist, if you're kind of geared towards a different client, your social media feeds are going to be slightly different. Like if I'm somebody that wants to be a social influencer, my social media feed and marketing should be totally different from somebody who wants to work in production or bridal. Because with an influencer, it's going to be primarily yourself because you're trying to be in alignment with brands and trying to get them to notice you, and you're building followers through tutorials and et cetera, et cetera. But if you're trying to work with the general public, with events, it needs to be a mix. Like, you can have some stuff of yourself, but you also need to show work on people. People of all different, like, races, ages, things like that, so people can really kind of get an idea of what you can do. If I'm trying to work with like fashion brands or editorials or something a little bit more edgy, I need my work and the feel when you look at my work online to have that feel also. So it's not gonna be as fresh or like events and things like that. So it's just kind of just gearing like how you market yourself and what you put out there to what you wanna do, because that's basically what you're telling the world. This is what I'm good at and this is what I want you to book me for. In that case also. I know, this is that awkward silence where I'm like, yeah, no problem, no. It's that put on the spot. It's kind of like when people ask me my resume and what I do, and people ask for me, they're like, oh, who have you worked with? What celebrities? I'm like, it's a whole list of people, and I can't think of none of them right now. It's like you get a brain fart, and it's like, it's all gone. So me asking you that is putting you on the spot, and I totally get it. What you got, Mercedes?
Well, I was just gonna say, back to the assistant, would
Yeah.
you think that it's a waste of time? Let's say you have a stylist friend, and it's not doing makeup, but they style and they work with makeup artists. Would it be worthwhile if they're willing to let you come and assist them to be able to observe and kind of just see how it is behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. Like, even when I was first started out and I was trying to figure things out, I did some PA jobs for a while just so I can get a feel, because it's a flow. It's a definite flow, especially with like production, music videos, and film that comes with it. And then especially if I'm paying you thousands of dollars to be here and do it, I don't need you to figure out that flow right then. I need you to kind of know it. So it's very fast paced. Usually they want a lot of things in a short amount of time. So sometimes if you can get jobs, it may not be exactly what you want to be doing at that time. So maybe it is as a wardrobe assistant, or maybe it is at a PA. You kind of got to get you got to get your foot in the door and through the building. So sometimes if that front door, which is like makeup artist assistant, where you really wants to be, is not open, climb through the window and to be a wardrobe assistant or be a PA or do something else. Because it honestly too, things that kind of come with it too is, especially in secondary markets like this one, everyone kind of knows everyone. And so them seeing your face, it kind of gets them to recognize you, and it'll start to refer you for different stuff. So they'll just like, okay, well, you know what I'm saying, Mercedes, she's a wardrobe assistant, but you know, she's also does makeup. And you know what I'm saying, just even to get your thing in. Or you may be able to talk to the makeup artist or get your card to her. And she seems like, okay, well, she's a really great, you know what I'm saying, she's really great. I would love to have her, yeah, on something else. Whereas sometimes you may not be able to have a conversation with that person. Because also too, a lot of times, people are very busy, because I know I probably get like 5 or 6 emails a week. I try to respond to most of them, but sometimes I can't. And sometimes you can pick and choose between the people who, you know what I'm saying, you really think would be a really great asset to your team. And then sometimes people who may be a really great asset, I don't have the chance to actually get to them. So I think that's a really smart and really great way to get yourself in a place. And then also if it's on projects too, sometimes you can kind of get to know producers or directors, and it's that thing of kind of recognizing you. Especially sometimes in smaller markets too, we kind of say it's like cheers. Because we may work on different projects, but sometimes it's a lot of the same faces. So I think it's really great.
With being a celebrity makeup artist, like, how did you even get to be that? Like, how do you get to the point where you're doing makeup on a celebrity? Like, is it something where they reach out to you, or is it just like, does it go back to networking? Like,
Combination. Celebrity can happen a lot of different ways. One way that helps you a lot is through agencies. When having an agent. Just because a lot of times too, when certain celebrities go to certain cities, certain agents, they contact them to find someone for them or find someone with their agency. Another way too is working with PR people. Public relations firms, a lot of times they set up the events. A lot of times they will work PR specifically with a celebrity. So sometimes if it is a celebrity you want to work with, a lot of times it's good to research who is their PR person. If it's in music, you're looking for the A&R person. Yeah, and kind of doing it that way. And then other ways too, sometimes their management finds you. But and then too, you can network that way. But it is also kind of having, if it's certain celebrities or certain people that you kind of want to target, it also benefits you too to have work in your book that looks similar to them, if that makes any sense. With the same kind of look and feel to them also. So when you have done your master networking and you have hunted down the PR person and they do take a look at your book, they'll be like, okay, I like her. She kind of looks like, you know what I'm saying, she has a feel of what we like. Even too, if you do book the job and you do get that celebrity, research that celebrity. Research that celebrity, because a lot of times PR teams stick with the same person sometimes because that person kind of gets that person look or what they're trying to do for them at that moment. Because a lot of times, a lot of celebrities have the same look unless they're trying to launch something. So if we have a new movie coming out, we have a new music, we have a new album, we have a new TV show coming out, those are the times when they kind of sometimes switch up their look to kind of create a buzz. But, or like a red carpet moment, they'll kind of switch it up for that. But other than that, they kind of have a general look. And sometimes it almost gives you a cheat sheet with them of what they like. And sometimes even times I found out like certain products that they like. And I don't do a bunch of their stuff, but I'll go buy that one thing. And I'll put it on my station and they'll see it. And they're like, oh my God, I love that. And I'm like, really? I'm like, we like the same stuff. And yeah, it builds like loyalty. And kind of builds that trust instantly with them also. So a lot of times too, and then celebrity too is kind of, once you kind of get a few, it's kind of getting it to that level where people really trust you and your work. And it's you honestly creating a vibe of consistent great work all the time. Because for them and you don't want it to be that one time when you have a bad day. And you're like, okay, great, everybody gets to see, you know what I'm saying, kind of gets to see that moment. So it's kind of, that's the thing with celebrities too. And a lot of times too, a lot of celebrities expect you to kind of have an idea of kind of working fast and knowing kind of what you do. Ask questions, but don't be upset if you're like working around, they're busy, so don't be, if you're working around somebody who's on their phone or headset or having to do certain things at a certain time. And so you also want to kind of work fast because you have no idea when they're going to be pulled in to talk with, you know what I'm saying, their management or their stylist or different things like that. So it's kind of also being flexible to work in fast situations where it's not as easygoing as with a bride or somebody for an event when you're kind of have control of like the situation and how long it takes and what exactly we're going to do because you've set the schedule. With them, you're kind of on their time. So it's kind of like getting in there and doing what you want to do fast and with the best attitude just to kind of get the results and then also kind of help you get rebooked.